Hello. Now that papers are done and some of you are done with your degrees for good riddance. And some of you have a few semesters still which you have to stretch, so fingers crossed for them. Now you have a few months before you, and most of us waste those months. I'd like to suggest differently because you have this time, and at the moment it would seem that this time is incredibly long. It will never end. It's like Thanos with the time stone, perhaps. Yes, time stone, and the time is stretching endlessly. But the thing is, after a few months, this time will end, and what will we have to show for ourselves? My biggest problem in university is dealing with students who are not exposed much to information, to knowledge, to things happening around them within the country, outside the country, in the world, anywhere. And this makes for students who do not encourage themselves or others into discussions because they don't have anything to share. So they sit like zombies in the class. So I suggest that you take this time which you have, these few months, and work on yourself. Work on at least something. And it does not have to be difficult. I'm not asking you to learn Java or C++ or whatever. If I were in your position, if I had the time which you have at the moment, I would invest myself in books. And not those books. Those books, your course books, are usually very dry, and they are taught to you in a manner which makes them even drier. So not those books, but books in general. There's so many pages on Instagram these days who are selling cheap books at a cheaper price, not cheap books at a cheaper price, and they're totally affordable. 200 or 300 for a book, that's no biggie. A Zinger costs more than that. Essentially, I would suggest you to watch movies, not Golmaal, not Purge, Anarchy, or I Spit on Your Grave, or Saw, not those kind of movies, but there are genuinely good movies out there which help you broaden your horizon, introduce you to new places. Like, I've never been to Texas, but I've seen enough movies in Texas that even if it isn't explicitly mentioned that this is Texas, I know it is Texas. And you get to see people in their colors. There are so many themes which are being explored. IMDb top 250 movies is a very good place to start. A few of them are action flicks like Batman or Dark Knight Rises, but few of them are very good, like Seven Samurais. Seven Samurais is a wonderful movie to watch. The Last Man on Earth, well, that's a season, but you can still watch that. It also taps on things then that when people are isolated and alone, what they do, what human beings usually succumb to doing. And there are a whole host of movies which you can watch, documentaries you can watch. Ascent of Man is a very beautiful series by BBC. How Art Made the World by Dr. Nigel Spivey is a very beautiful piece of documentary series which you can watch. You can watch Through the Wormhole, narrated by Morgan Freeman. Cosmos by Carl Sagan, and then the second part by Neil deGrasse Tyson, which also has been initiated once again for the third time under some other person's legacy. Well, the thing is, all these things give you material to think about. Because my primary subjects are students of psychology, so unless you expose yourself to a whole host of things and the whole broad spectrum of human experiences, it is almost very difficult, if not impossible, to understand people and to understand yourself as well. Listen to music, books, movies, music. Not that High Garmi and those sort of songs, they won't get you anywhere you'd like to be. But there are a whole bunch of other genres of music: classical music, instrumental music, trance music, music from African countries, even music from this our very culture. We usually forget the lyrics behind the music, and thanks Thanks a bit to Coke Studio for reviving it, though it has its problems. But at least listen to good music. Listen to good poetry. Read poetry. Poetry helps understand human emotions in a manner no book can ever do. Because poetry surmises poetry is the culmination of all human feelings in very few words, and these few words take paragraphs and pages in a book but can be condensed into 2 verses in poetry. So read poetry. It can be any poetry apart from Ustad Imamdeen Gujarati, that poetry sucks. It can be any poetry. It does not have to be as nihilistic as John Elia or as deep as Ghalib. It can be simple poetry. You can even start with Mohsin Naqvi. It doesn't matter, because even Mohsin Naqvi in his very simple words explains tragedy in a very compelling manner. So read and expose yourself as much as you can to the most extent possible while being safe. Be safe. Please do not put yourself in any harm's way just in the pursuit of knowledge. Knowledge is good, knowledge is vital, and we live in a knowledge economy now. But still be very, very safe. But do expose yourself to the whole host of things that the world has to offer. And please do not waste these 3-4 months till the next semester begins. Thank you so much.